Hey guys, my name is Elisa Ace, a spiritual medium, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing some of the evidence that a dog in spirit named Harley gave me in my reading with her mom. So usually I make this kind of content on my Facebook mediumship page. If you go to that page and you scroll through, you will see tons and tons of posts. However, they're in text. So I just type out the evidence and then include the pictures of the evidence that my clients send to me after the reading's over. But I decided to try it in video version. So first, I just want to let you know that I always have my clients' permission to make these posts. And secondly, I will not be going over all of the evidence that I received in the reading for sake of time. So we will just be talking about certain specific pieces of evidence, and I will be including pictures of the evidence. And also the personal, intimate messages from my client's pet in spirit to her will be kept private. So this is the third reading that I have done with this client and her dog. They had a very special connection. So I've already received, kind of more your basic pieces of evidence, like the dog telling me how she crossed over and so forth. So these are going to be a little bit different. A lot of what pets in spirit do is tell me what their mom or dad has been up to lately, to kind of show them that they're around them, that they still see everything going on in their lives, that they're still connected to them. So one of the first things that her dog Harley in spirit told me was that her mom just recently went on a trip. What she told me about her trip was that her mom was outside a lot and that her mom bought clothes on this trip. So when I asked her mom if this makes sense, she said, yes, I just got back from a trip to New York City, and I will insert the picture here. And she said she was outdoors. She was obviously doing a lot of sightseeing, Times Square and so forth. And I asked her, did you buy any clothes? And she said, yes, I bought a skirt. The next thing that Harley, the dog in spirit, told me is that somebody drew her, and then she said the word phone. So when I asked her mom, she said, yes, my niece drew a picture of her and I together, which I will insert here. And I have it on my screensaver on my phone. So that's what her dog was talking about. Her dog also told me that she visited her since our last reading, like a dream visit or out of body visitation. And when I asked her, she said yes, she had the most incredible out of body visitation with her dog, where she was petting her and she could feel her and she could smell her and the whole nine. So that was amazing. Another thing that Harley gave me was my phrase for when they want to tell me that their mom or dad did something in memory of them or in honor of them. And then she said flowers. So sometimes they are very specific with the evidence they give me, and sometimes it's a little more vague and my client has to explain to me. So I said, does this make sense? Did you do anything in memory of her that involves flowers? And she said, yes, I built like a planter flower box, and then I painted her name on the front of it, which I will put a picture here. Harley also gave me my symbol for when they want to tell me that their mom or dad has something that they keep on their person, that they wear, that is directly connected to them, or their remains. And so when I asked her, is there something that you wear, something that you keep close to you, a lot of the time? She said, yes, I have a necklace, and I will insert a picture here. As you can see, it's a beautiful diamond cross necklace. And then there is the letter H on that necklace in memory of Harley. Then Harley brought up her mom going to a restaurant, and then she said dad. So when I asked her about it, she said that she goes to a restaurant out to eat with her dad all the time, like regularly, like weekly. Then she also told me the word brunch. So when I asked her, she said that her husband had ordered her breakfast today. And I said, yeah, but she told me brunch, not breakfast. And she said it was a late breakfast, which that's the same thing as brunch. So Harley also gave me several names of people that are in her mom's life. So she gave me her coworker's name. She gave me her cousin's name. Then she gave me the name Sally. And I want you to learn from my lesson here if you're a developing medium. So I allowed myself to get in my head and tell myself, Sally's probably not going to make sense because it's such an old-fashioned name, which is so dumb. So instead of saying, can you take a Sally, I decided to say, do you by chance shop at Sally Beauty Supply Store? So stupid. And she said, no, we don't have those in this part of Canada. And I was like, oh, okay. She said, but I definitely can take a Sally. It's an elderly family member who is having some, pretty significant health issues. And I've been visiting them a lot lately, and they've also been on my mind a lot. So it literally was a person named Sally, and her dog was bringing that up to show her that she sees what her mom is doing. So she also gave me the name Jer. So again, in my mind, I let my human brain get in the way, and I said, well, Jer sounds like it's probably short for Jerry. So instead of telling her what I heard, which was Jer, I said, can you take the name Jerry? And she said, no. I said, what about Jer? I was a little nervous about it because I've never heard Jer in all of my readings. And she said, yes, Jer is a family member. It's short for Jeremy, but he goes by Jer. So learn from me. and don't make assumptions and just give it how you get it. Harley also gave me a name that definitely sounded like it would be a pet's name. And so I asked her mom, do you know a pet with this name? And she said, yes, that's the pet of my cousin whose name you gave me. And I said, and this pet is in spirit? And she said, yes, this pet is in spirit. And so I definitely take that as Harley telling me that she's in spirit with this dog. So then Harley told me that her mom helps people, like that she brings value to their life and betters their life. And then she said the word teacher, and then she said the word punch. So as you can imagine, I was a little bit confused. And so when I asked her about this, I said, is your line of work have anything to do with like helping people? And she said, yes, I'm a Zumba teacher. So, she helps people get healthy, that kind of thing. And I said, well, what about the word punch? I said, do you box maybe? And she said, I used to box. And I thought, I don't know if that's it, because why would Harley be telling me something that you used to do? So I let it go. And then after the reading, she sent me a picture saying, this is me at my studio, as a Zumba teacher. And in the background of the picture, which you will see here, because I'm going to put the picture here, there is a long row of punching bags. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Then Harley gave me my symbol, which means thank you for the cream treat. So this is usually human ice cream or dog ice cream or whipped cream treat. So this time I already knew that she meant ice cream, because in addition to her telling me my symbol through my clairaudience, letting me hear, she also gave me an image through my clairvoyance. So I saw it in my mind's eye. And in the image that she gave me was her mom's arm outstretched and letting Harley lick ice cream. And then when I asked her mom about that, she said, yes, I have a picture of that. And it's funny because pets will often bring up memories like that. And then my clients will often say, yes, that's right. And I have a picture of it. And so I kind of wonder, is that why the pets are bringing up that kind of specific information? Because they know their parent has a picture of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So during the reading, there was a couple times where I was feeling a word instead of hearing a word, which is usually my go-to. Clairaudience is my strongest clair. And so I wasn't going to say it the first time because it was really random, but when I heard it again, I was like, okay, I'm just going to say it. And so I told her, I said, I know this is going to be weird, but I'm feeling the word pineapple. And when I said that, she burst into tears and told me, she said, I wasn't going to tell you this because I had changed my mind, but before the reading, I had set up a code word with Harley, and my code word was pineapple. So she wanted Harley to give me the word pineapple. And she said that she had changed her mind and wasn't going to say anything to me about it because she does know that this is all real. But Harley gave her that word anyways, which is pretty cool. So in general, I don't advise really for people to ask for a code word. I have had people and pets in spirit give me the code word that my client wanted in the past. But in general, I don't really advise it, just because you don't want it to ruin the reading for you. If your medium doesn't happen to be able to get that code word, you don't want it to diminish, the beautiful messages and evidence that you get from that medium. So in general, but in this case, Harley came through. So another thing that Harley told me was the word paw. And when she said it, I felt like it had something to do with a paw being put on a hand. And so when I asked her mom, I said, by chance, was your dog trained to know how to give high fives? And she said, yes, but not only that, I currently have paws on my nails, which I will show you right here. So then Harley's mom, my client, asked me a question that I don't think anybody has ever asked me in a reading. And she said that she wanted me to ask Harley what it's like to be with God. And I thought, whoa, that's kind of a biggie. I don't know if I'll get an answer to that, but I can definitely try. So I asked Harley, and it was quiet for a little bit, and I almost told my client, I'm sorry, but I'm not getting an answer. And right before I was about to say that, I then started to get an image, and it was an image of Harley, her dog, in a field of grass, and the field went on as far as the eye could see, and it was bright, and there was like a light behind her, and it kept getting closer and brighter and closer and brighter, until it got so bright that Harley kind of like closed her eyes like you would do when like the warmth of the sun is on you. And I just felt like this ultimate safety and love. And I heard one word, joy. Crazy. During the reading, I also got a very strong and clear image of like, it kind of looked like a park. I just saw grass and trees. And then I saw several large black birds. So like raven, either really big crows or ravens. My guess was ravens. And I saw several of them like flying. And so I asked her, is there something around that? Is this a memory or something? And she said, no, we don't have those kinds of birds where I live in Canada. And I thought that's weird, because it was a really strong, clear image. So I let it go. And then after the reading, I went to one of the graveyards that I walk at, that I do laps at for exercise, like right after the reading. And sure enough, as soon as I entered the graveyard, there were ravens everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And I have not seen them in months and months. I was literally like, where have you guys been? They were flying, all like following me. They were talking to me. I got videos of it, but it's really kind of shaky and blurry, but I'll add a picture here. Not a super great picture because there were so many of them. But anyways, I don't know really what's up with that. Was it like just some kind of premonition? I'm not sure, but I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to add it. So I make these kinds of posts, usually in text form, but I'll start doing some of them in video form. I make these kinds of posts all the time, like I said, on my mediumship page, my Facebook mediumship page, because I want people to see over and over again so they really get it through their head that there really is no such thing as death. It's just transition back to our spirit body. They're just walking through a door to a higher frequency. Their experience goes on. Their experience is actually much fuller once you go back into your original spirit form. And they are always with you. They see everything that's going on in your life. You couldn't hide anything from them, even if you wanted to. They are constantly telling me places that they follow you guys. So they're around you, they're connected to you. And so that's why I make these posts a lot, because I want people to see that it's not just your pet. It's not just your neighbor's pet. It's everybody's pets. It's everybody's loved ones. They're still involved in your life. They still see your life. They can still be around you in your house whenever they want to. They can go back to the spirit world and then come back to your house. They can do whatever they want because they are free. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, then go ahead and follow me over on my Facebook mediumship page. The link will be in the top pinned comment below. If you would like to schedule a reading with me to connect to a loved one, a friend, or a pet in spirit, then you can private message me on that Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.